Good morning, good morning, good morning, B. How's it going?
Good morning and welcome to the show. What? What? Good morning, y'all. My mama is on the magnesium today. I don't know what's going on. Good morning, y'all, and welcome to the show. What?
It's you.
What? What did I do? Is it something I did?
It's just the look you had. Like, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy, I want my bed. You say,
Hey, it don't matter. You know why? I got my coffee. I wanted my
oh, God.
coffee.
Yeah, you
welcome
just had
everybody
this look.
to the In This Season podcast, where we joke on each other about our faces in the morning. But no, I'm just playing, y'all. Welcome to the In the Season podcast. This is what, day 165.
Yes.
Wow, 165 days consecutive, y'all. Thank you for joining us. Let us know where you are joining us from as we go ahead and get this Instagram going, Mom. I'm gonna send this to you, and we can go ahead
Send
and
it
get that.
on while I say good morning to the great people. I bet. Let's see. Oh, my brother, Big Mike, is in the house. 2 days in a row. He is fussed.
He's first. That's what I'm
Fussed.
talking about. That's what I'm talking about. If you guys haven't been here before, welcome. You are probably on Facebook Live or YouTube Live or watching the YouTube after the stream. Thank you for joining us. This is the End the Season podcast where we are going through daily motivations for African American success, a book by Dennis Kimbro, reading a passage, giving you our insights, um, diving deep into some of these concepts, building our character and developing our character for success, right? Putting ourselves in the position for success. If you haven't gotten the book, this is what the book looks like. Please go get it. I know mine's a little bit tethered, but that's how it is when you actually read the books. But please go ahead and get that book. It is a high value, low cost book. And we are about to be live here on Instagram. So give us just a moment and we will start the show. Let's see here.
It's family reunion day. Auntie Chet Chet, all the
Uh
way from the ATL, says, good morning, butterfly and family, and love, love. She got the heart, heart, heart.
oh. Well, there we are. We are live now on Instagram Live. So welcome everybody from Instagram. If you are coming in, let us know who you are, where you are, and what interest you have in the show, and invite somebody else so we can do it again. We can do it a couple more times, get more people here, get more people involved, get more people on the path to success. Um, we started this as an acknowledgement of Black History during February, Black History Month. We were only supposed to go 28 days, but we ended up keeping it going for now 165 days straight. Congratulations, Mom.
Thank you. Thank you.
But how
When
how
I'm
are you
here,
doing?
you're here. So it's
Yeah.
all good. We're, when y'all have to miss, your presence is still here. So just
Oh,
know that. Just know that. Really, seriously, you know, it's my desire and my goal to be here every day. I look forward to the possibility of saying, wow, I made it 365 days. What a blessing it will be. But just know, Brandon, if life is life, life happens to us, and for sure, things may come up where I can't. But you guys know on that day that I was the I can woman. I tried everything to make it work. I crossed all T's and dotted all I's. So we're all here together. And when we're not here, we're together. Because what you say, Brandon, what's the word? You are my other me or whatever.
in La Catch.
And la catch. So, and I believe when we get to see life, see others as ourselves and want for others the same as we want for ourselves. And I'm talking about that internal peace, not necessarily excitement, but joy, right? And there is a difference joy, pure joy. So, Brandon, before we start, can I share my story of
Oh yeah,
yesterday?
yeah. That's what I was gonna ask you about you yesterday and how the rest of it went. But y'all go ahead.
Can y'all read it for them, Brandon? What does it say? What does it say?
That's popcorn.
So, y'all, I was working yesterday at an event, farmers market. Y'all come out and see us. So, this lady was standing to the vendor next to me, to the left of me, buying some things, some fruits and veggies, and she had a bag of popcorn. And I looked at it and I was like, man, I would love a bag of popcorn right about now. And a few minutes, this little boy, I think he's eight, eight or so. He's my friend. He's my farmer's market friend. He comes over and hangs out with me and talks to me. He comes up with me a bag of popcorn. Y'all, y'all don't know what that did to me and for me. Now get this, the woman that I saw had the popcorn that made me want it, I found out later. It was his mom. It is his mom. And there was a vendor outside that was selling the popcorn. It was his grandma. That's all I'm gonna say. Popcorn, y'all. And I called Brandon and I was so excited. And he was laughing because he's like, what will you tell the story? What'd you say to me? You say what you said to me.
Well, I think I mean I don't remember exactly what I said,
The
but I remember
excite
it was
you
you acted
mentioned
like
my excitement.
yeah, like when she called, she was like, Brand, guess what? I was like, I'm either in trouble or she done won $1 million. I done either did something. I don't know what I did, but I either did something or I don't. She didn't won $1 million, but she got us some popcorn, y'all. But she was so excited. She's like, Brand, guess what? And it was one of those parking spot moments where my mother, if y'all haven't been here for a while, she prays for parking spots, or like she'll make a quick supplication to God, like, Lord, just give me the first parking spot, and she always gets it. Or she'll say, I want a pen, or yeah, or anything like that, and somehow it'll come to her, within a few minutes. So um, it just seems like mom is a friend of God, and God is enjoying pampering her with the small things, and the small things do count, and sometimes they make you feel like the big things because of
Mm,
the thoughtfulness. And of course we know that God is the most merciful, the most gracious, right? Like how can God be gracious? Like, oh, you're so gracious, thank you, thank you, thank you. How can God be great
mm,
when we're the one that gives him thanks? Gracious, where we get gracias, right? Like when someone says thank you. How can God be grateful and gracious?
mm,
Little things like this. It makes us, parallel in comparison, and it should make you want to be more grateful for what you have, more intimate with God. To hear stories like that seem so simple but are so powerful, that might seem mundane but are actually unique, that are actually coincidence doesn't fit the description. When it happens over and over and over again, you can feel God's
mm,
hand inside of it. You can feel his intention behind it. You can almost hear his laugh, if that makes sense, or you
mm.
can sense his sense of humor. Like, all right, I'll give it to you. You still asking for popcorn. You still asking for a parking spot. All right. So the last thing I said on the phone with my mom was, "All right, mom, pray big now. Pray big." so, so next call, it's
Can
gonna
I
be that.
add one more thing to that,
Yeah.
Brandon?
Yeah.
Psalms 37:4. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. And that's the key here, y'all. This is not about me. I'm trying to tell you, this is not about me. This is about a little girl who became a woman and learned, right? Pursued God's heart, right? Pursued God. And I find let me do this. Let me do this. Delight. What does that mean, right? Delight, to delight yourself in God, right? It says as a verb, please someone greatly. An experience guaranteed to delight both young and old. That's just an example, right?
Mm.
Right. And so when I tell you that I'm standing to at the dryer seeking God's face, when I tell you I'm washing dishes seeking God's face, I'm not lying to you. When I tell you I'm driving my car seeking God's face, I'm not lying to you guys. And this is what it's about. If you feel God has moved or he's not in your life, you're the one that stepped away, right? So get back to what you know. I thank God that my grandparents and my mom, right? I spent a lot of time with my grandparents and I'm so thankful for that. Um, and that's how it was back in the day, y'all. So no slate on my parents at all. But my cousins, all we just was at grandma's house. Everybody was at grandma's house. But the one thing they did is they took, you had to go to church, period. And there's that scripture that says, teach them, bring them up, show them, and they might part, right? But the coming back, they're coming back. There will be a day. And if trust me, if they don't, it's because they're in their own way. It's not because God's not there. So when I tell you these little stories, and I wish I could bring the parking space. For those of you who've not heard the pen story, I wanted this pen from a lady, two ladies actually, but one had the pens. And gosh, I have a pen fetish. And I was like, man, I would love one of those pens. And as she got up and walked out, she walked over and gave me one. The popcorn, I asked for popcorn. I desired popcorn. But more importantly, I delight myself in the Lord consistently. In Psalms 34, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Brandon, thank you for telling me yesterday. Okay, mama, ask big,
Mm.
ask big. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, Brandon, my big prayer, my biggest prayer is one that I have for you in your life. I won't share what that is. And I wait for the day. I wait for the day, man, for that prayer to be answered.
Mm. I love you, Mom. Thank you. Love you so much. Thank you
I
for
gotta stop because I'll be crying.
sharing.
I gotta stop. Whew.
We love you. I'll take over for you, Mom. I appreciate you, sweetie.
Thank
Uh,
you.
enjoy it. Enjoy it. In, in Islam, we believe that the tears that you for God or in supplication to God or like in prayer to God, in thoughts of God, that you should wipe those tears all over your face and all over your body because they will be a protection for you on the day of judgment. They will be a shield for you. They will help you on that day. It'll be a light for you on that day. You know, it's a purification for you. So um, I have to
Yeah.
speak to myself first. Like anytime you feel emotional about God, specifically, let it out because that's a purification for you at every point. It's purifying your heart, your mind, your soul. It's anchoring you. Um, it's anchoring your physical self, your desires to your spirit, to your soul, to the divine creator, right? And so I hope you continue to feel that intimacy because it's a very special thing. But so a little bit guys, about this book as we move forward a little bit. daily motivations for African American success. You don't have to be African American to get the motivation from this, but it is through the context of the African American experience. And so this book will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. 365 short but powerful motivations, for one for each day of the year. Dennis Kimbro leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. So each motivation begins with words of wisdom or a quote from distinguished and celebrated African Americans like Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. But what it teaches will last you a lifetime. And today's passage on this July 14th is It's Hammer Time. It's Hammer Time. And if anybody knows what that quote is, y'all know about MC Hammer, right? He's like, it's hammer time. For the younger people out there, when I was a baby, it was a time when everybody had the big pants and they were gliding across the stage. You know, they call it hammer time. I don't know if y'all remember that. But our quote of the day comes from Harriet Tubman, the conductor of the Underground Railroad. She said, I don't care how many times you hear the word no, you ain't gonna give up. Either live north or die. I don't care how many times you hear the word no, you ain't gonna give up. Either live north or die. And of course, living north was a reference into escaping to the north away from slavery, as she helped people run away and escape slavery from the South. So the passage goes, the idea of taking one day at a time may seem very narrow. However, never underestimate the cumulative effect of the days that we live. Take, for example, a single penny. If you see a penny lying on the sidewalk, you hardly feel its worth. You hardly feel it's worth the effort to bend over and pick it up. But suppose you began to double that penny each day for a month. At the end of the week, you would have only 64 pennies. That's not very impressive. But at the end of a month, you would have 536,870,912 pennies, or $5,368,709.12, more than $5 million. One moment may not seem important in one day, but as we begin to multiply those moments, it's astounding how many we would have in a month. My little calculator doesn't have the capacity to tell me how many moments we have in a year. And it is utterly beyond my imagination to think how many moments could be accrued in a lifetime. Watch a stone cutter bang away at the stone with his hammer and wedge. He might hit the stone 100 times with no apparent effect, but on the 101st blow, the stone cracks. The point is, the 101st lick did not crack the stone itself. It was the cumulative effect of the 100 blows before that brought the results. That is the way our moments and days work. Sometimes it seems we're making little progress. Sometimes it seems all of our efforts are useless, but we keep trying. We struggle without giving up. Then, one day, the victory we have sought belongs to us. It was not that final effort. It was all the effort that went before. And so our motivation at the end of the passage that we read 3 times, one time for me, one time for you, and one time for the person that you miss, right? And for you, it'll be one time for you, one time for us. And one time for that person that you're inviting to the show. It says, like the stone cutter, I will hammer my way through to success. Like the stone cutter, I will hammer my way through to success. And last time, like the stone cutter, I will hammer my way through to success. Mom, over to you. What are your thoughts? It's hammer time. Oh,
Whew.
oh, oh.
So I'm gonna come back to what I just talked about, you guys, because it's so important for me, for you to know that this didn't happen overnight. Where I feel I am, no, 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 where I am today did not happen overnight. But the one thing to keep in mind here is that I had to keep going. Had I stopped, because there's been some difficult days, some difficult nights, sometimes where I felt like God wasn't with me. And how could you allow things like this to happen? And for me to be in this state, um, to be in a state of depression and stress and just going, feeling like I'm not getting anywhere. Like if I take 100 steps, I'm kicked back 99 of them, right? I'm this stone cutter. You are too. Just keep going. Keep doing what satisfies the goal and the vision that you have, which is really just to be free, not to have things that keep you in bondage. Because the more you try to feed that internal hunger that you have inside with with something or someone from the world, your battle with yourself will deepen, right? So this again, it just this is what we just talked about. The pen, the popcorn, right? The idea of taking one day at a time may seem very narrow. However, never underestimate the cumulative effect of the days that we live, right? This single penny. So every time you make a move towards your plan or your goal to be free, right? To be free of all the trauma, the stress, the generational curses, all of that. You're looking at someone who kept going, who cried many nights, who did not have the oomph to make it through a day, but she went anyway, right? Read this, y'all, and know who you are, and know whose you are, and delight yourself. Delight. And I'm going to read this, Brandon, and turn it over to you. The word delight means, I found a better one for today. The word delight means to gain great pleasure, satisfaction, and happiness, right? To gain great pleasure, satisfaction, and happiness. Additionally, another meaning of the Hebrew word for delight is to be soft, tender, right? I think lovers of God are those who are soft and tender toward Him, always teachable, always pliable in His hands. Beautiful, right? To gain great pleasure, satisfaction, and happiness. Additionally, another meaning of the Hebrew word for delight is to be soft, tender. I think lovers of God are those who are soft and tender toward Him, always teachable. Let your ego go. God ain't gonna do nothing with you with your ego. Trying to please yourself is not being teachable. Always pliable in His hands. Over to you, Brandon.
Thank you, Mom. Appreciate that. Your insights. And I agree. I really like this title. It's Hammer Time. Not just because it's nostalgic, um, but it also reminds me of something. You did say something about when you try to basically cure internal things with external people or something like that.
Yeah.
that you continue a battle with yourself.
Mhm.
I'm actually reminded of MC Hammer.
Mm.
Remember what he did? One of the things he did. Um,
Mm.
he
Not.
an immense amount of wealth, and then lost it,
Oh,
giving it away to the people that he cared for, and his family, his friends, and pretty.
remember that.
He gave all of his money away, and a lot of people said he was crazy and dumb and all this stuff for that. And even I think even he had some regrets for giving away some of that money. But at the end of the day, we really don't know what that could mean for him in the akhirah, and that the akhirah is the word for hereafter. Or we don't know what that charity might mean for him. Uh, in the hereafter, right after this life, how that might be written in his book of
Mhm.
life. But in a worldly sense, he had done all of these things and then basically given it all away almost accidentally, like on purpose, right? Like I'm sure he made every decision to give, to give, to give, handouts or investments or whatever it might be. But that all accumulated, right? That all accumulated. Each one of those little things that he gave away accumulated to him being without any of the wealth that he had made. And so I find that interesting. And those things can work in that way, but they can also work in reverse, like we saw here with the penny, doubling and doubling and doubling. And it reminds me about
Mm.
investing, right? It reminds me about investing, how investing just a little bit every week. If you've got a new job and you have extra money, one of the hardest things to do for people is to not spend every single dime of what they earn. Financially, that's one of the hardest things for people, especially coming out of low to moderate income backgrounds, you know, is to not spend when they level up or when they get a leg up in the upward mobility of their finances. It's hard for them, for us, to not spend every single dime on the convenience that we have purchased, that we believe we purchased by giving our time, right? So you literally give your time to purchase convenience, right? Or you're trying to buy your time in the future, right? And so imagine investing a couple of dollars every single week out of that extra. One of the things that I heard, and I need to remember this even more now, is pay yourself first before you pay the taxes, before you pay all these other things. Is there something that you can give, if you have it, out of abundance, to yourself first? And what does that look like? My wife has started a couple years ago, a safe where you just put some money in and leaves it. Put some money in, leaves it. Put some money in and leaves it. Right? You can do this with a security deposit box. You can do it with whatever, and you will be surprised at how much can accrue over time. And then when those hard days come, you have a nest egg. But it's not just with money. It's also with character development. If there's something about yourself that you're trying to, and there should be, let's start with that. There should be something that you are working on within yourself, something that maybe others don't even know, might not even see, but you know, and God knows, and you have an issue with patience. You might have an issue with temper. You might have a spending problem. You might have a lethargy problem where you know that there's more that you can do, but you might lack that get up and go, right? We are creatures of habit, and moments added up create momentum, right? And it's very hard to stop momentum, right? I think momentum is, um, I forget, it's like P equals mv, I believe, in physics. There's like mass times the velocity. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, momentum is mass times velocity. So the movement of whatever you've amassed, like you're moving, and it's hard to stop that movement. Like if you get an 18-wheeler truck and it's rolling down a hill, it's a lot harder to stop that 18-wheeler truck than it is a little Honda, right? So how much have you amassed, and is it working towards your favor? Does your momentum, is your momentum pushing you in the direction that you want to go, right? That feeling of when you hit the brakes, but it's still pushing a little bit, is that pushing you in the direction you want to go? Or have you amassed and accrued
Mm.
momentum in a direction opposite of what serves you? You know, and that might take some slowing down before you stop. You might not be able to stop cold turkey, but you got to slow it down and bring it to a halt and then go in a different direction. And these things are slow. If you hit that, it's hammer time. If you hit that rock with a big old hammer, you ain't gonna have no kind of shape in whatever you're trying to create. You might break the whole darn thing. But it's that ceaseless chisel with the wedge and the hammer that on that 101st blow cracks the stone perfectly, purposefully where it's supposed to be, pointedly where it's supposed to be. And I think a lot of life is just like that, like the passage said. You might not see the results on the first try. It might not be glaringly apparent in your character development that you read that personal development book, or that you held your tongue in that situation where you could have lost your temper.
Mm.
No one may notice it but you. But count those successes and hold them captive and remember them, because there's always a story that we tell ourselves about ourselves within ourselves, right? How do you narrate your story to yourself? Right? How do you narrate your story to yourself? And when you do those little incremental deeds, or those little small accomplishments that maybe no one sees, but only you and God know, remember that. Tell it to yourself in that story. If you want to wake up for prayer every single morning at 5 a.m. and you've done it for 2 days in a row, no one might know
Mm.
about it. But on that third day, when you in the bed and you feel that alarm go off, say, well, I really don't feel like it. Remember your story. Well, I've already done it twice. What's one more time? Right? What's one more time? Or if you've done 165 days of a podcast every single morning, I'm sure it's up. He's like, what's 166? You know? And it becomes easier and easier and less
Mm.
big and less big, because this is the fourth day in a row I've been doing this. Sounds a lot bigger for some reason than, like the fifth day seems bigger than the 166th day,
Right.
right? And it's because you've built this momentum, right? You've been coming to this show every single day. You're used to it now. It's part of your habit, part of the culture of your day, right? And if it serves you and you built that momentum in the direction of your success, then it is very hard to stop it. You will miss it. Trust me, on the days when I can't be here, I miss it. I wonder about it. You know,
Mm.
think about it. I think about y'all, who the comments, the mom, what you might have shared. You know, I think about those things, and I miss you guys. Um, I miss the momentum, but all praise be to God, that momentum still exists. You might have hit a break, but it's still pushing you from that big old trailer you got behind your 18 wheeler. You know what I mean? So let that momentum continue to push. If it's a positive direction and you stop for a day, pick back up where you left off. Pick that wedge back up and that hammer and chisel away at where you stopped. because it only takes a little bit to start a habit. How many days in a row can you do something that helps you positively, right? Can you build momentum to where it becomes a habit? Now, you remember I talked about waking up for prayer. I don't even have an alarm, y'all, for prayer. We have something in the living room that does the call to prayer, the Islamic call to prayer, and it does it at any moment. It's digital, so it changes for wherever you are in the world, right? And it initiates the call to prayer. It was a suggestion from my wife, and then and I approved, and we purchased it for the house. But I really, to be honest, don't even really hear it. But since I've been waking up in the morning for so long, now I wake up automatically. No matter what time I go to sleep, my body still wakes up at the same moment. Why? Because there's momentum built
Mm.
inherently from that slow, every single day hammering. But you better believe when I first started, waking up early in the morning was a huge task. Like there were knots tied on my head connecting me to my bed, right? And not only that, we don't just wake up, we wake up, I have to go to a water source, and I wash my hands and my arms, and I don't want to waste water. So I don't even you don't even wait until the water warms up. What a blessing it is to even have warm water.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But it's the cold water when it's still dark outside. The sun hasn't even come up. The rest of the world is sleeping. It feels like just me and my Lord,
Mm.
right? When everyone else is quiet, I'm supplicating. My wife is supplicating. The Muslims around the world supplicate. And this connects us, this unifies us. Can you imagine the significance of at least, I mean, there's 2.2 billion Muslims around the world, but I'm just saying people of faith, right? In general, more than that. But imagine if just the people of faith in your own family woke up at the same time and prayed, no matter where they were, whether you guys did it together and knew we were doing it or not. But imagine if every person at the same time prayed around the world and they did that 5 times a day. What does that do in reorienting yourself daily back to that straight path we were talking about, right? This builds a momentum. This builds a habit. This builds a, and it's not just faith. And that's one of the things why I love the discipline that's associated with the religion of Islam, right? There's the faith of just the belief, right? And then there's also the actual habituality of doing certain things, right? That create this discipline, this fortitude mentally, spiritually. And it's not unique to just Islam. It's just the fact that we practice the letter of the law. And I invite my Christian brothers and sisters to practice the letter of their law as well, because there are so many benefits. There are so many benefits in practicing the law. What did Jesus say? I'd come not to do away with the law, but to fulfill it. He practiced the law, right? He practiced the law of Moses. Do you guys understand that? So in order to be Christian, you should practice the law of Moses. Point
Mm.
blank, period. There is a inherent benefit to your life if you follow those instructions. If you follow those instructions. But many times we take the easy route out. Even our pastors do. We give the easy way out, the way that doesn't build any momentum. You just say, "Yep, I'm good because I believe in my heart." Like God didn't give you hands and feet. Pray with your feet. Pray with your hands.
Mm.
Put some work in that soil. You know, that's why we have to bury our dead. It's not automatic. You got to dig in the ground. And this was taught to in the situation of Cain and Abel, when the brother was killed and the other brother wanted, he saw the wrong that he did. And there was a crow over there that scratched the ground. I don't know if you guys know about this story. The crow, he saw God inspired the crow to scratch the raven or whatever, to scratch the ground, to show him how to bury his brother, right? Because he had surely wronged his brother and wronged himself, right? So there, you have to put action behind your words. We can say all day that faith without works is dead, but how many of you will go to church and say you believe and ask for, you know, I don't know, forgiveness, or do you believe you have it just by believing, right? Are you the person that on judgment day, when you come to Jesus and say, "Oh, but Jesus, we prophesied in your name. I can't we cast out demons in you. We did all these things in your name." He says, "Be away from me, oh sowers of iniquity and lawlessness, for I never knew you." Lawlessness. Did you hear that? Lawlessness. He said, "I come not to do away with the law, but to fulfill it." And the people that come to him that say, "We did these in your name," he says, "Sowers of iniquity, lawless."
Step away.
You see what I'm saying? So we are taking our desires. Some of us are taking our desires as Lord. And I'm speaking to myself first because I'm human. We all have this feature about us, to lean towards lethargy, to lean towards the easy way out, to want the instant gratification. And that's what this world tries to give us. It tries to sell it to us. And a lot of times we buy it with the same pennies that we could be accruing towards our the benefit of our hereafter. But we're purchasing this world, even though this world fades away. When we could be purchasing the hereafter that doesn't fade away, that is everlasting. So that's why there is no instant gratification on the things that are worth the most. That's why when you hold your tongue from saying what you shouldn't say, or when you blessed is the one who leaves arguing, who leaves an argument even though they're right. Blessed is the person that leaves an argument even when they are right, because it benefits them in the hereafter. But we want it here and now. And what a petty trade that is. What a petty trade that. So today, trade with yourself. Give up a little bit of this world for the hereafter. And it's not saying that you don't deserve good in this world. It's not saying that you should not pursue a life um, of ease, or try to make it easy on the people that you love and care for. It's not saying that you should have that you should pursue a life of um, depravity. But there are things more valuable than what you can see inside of you. There are character traits more valuable to you than you found dollars every day on the ground and doubled it. So give God a good loan. Give yourself, um, give yourself the first payment. If that makes sense. Your true self, not your physical self, your true self. Build up those positive character traits and watch it permeate through the rest of your life. Feel what true success looks like. Because because let me tell you guys, you can't feel what true success looks like. That seems like an oxymoron. How can you feel what it looks like? Right? You can't see, not with eyes, but you know it. When, okay. So I love y'all. That's
Brandon, you know what I think about when you say that? Feel what success looks like. Feel your heart. You know, the other day you talked about that has kept. Feel your heartbeat. Feel it. Right? Feel it. So, Brandon, I want to, y'all, there's a book called A Circle of Prayer. I'm trying to remember the author, of it. I'll put it out there. It's called A Circle of Prayer. I think I see it. That someone recommended that book to me quite a while ago, and it really helped me to get into praying more.
Mark
And
Batter
that's where, huh?
by Mark Batterson.
That may be right. That may
I
be.
googled it and
A
says
s-
Mark Batterson or Holly Bridges. There's two different ones.
Okay, this one's like a burgundy with a circle.
Yeah, Mark
Okay,
Batterson.
that's Mark. So they get the book. I'll drop the link in the Facebook link here. I'll try to drop it here, Brandon, before we go. Do we have any, but you guys get that, because again, it's what led me to put the circles in the war room, where I will put names or things that I'm praying for in there, and as I'm praying, I can see those names and so forth. But that's what led me to do that. And they talked about having a habit of praying at the same time every day. And something else you mentioned, Brandon, this was a little selfish of me, but I remember when I was doing 4 a.m. prayer, I felt like I had God all to myself. I literally thought this way, like, okay, if I do it now, who's really up praying? I got all of God's attention. Kind of selfish, but it worked for me. But I don't need to do that, because I don't, God's so big and don't doesn't need for me to just do that. But for me, I felt like I got all God's attention, and it worked for me. So
I think
we
the
got
difference, can I say something real quick,
yeah, sure.
is that he had all of yours.
Yeah, yeah,
Remember what you said? It's not God that moves away, it's us. He's always
yeah,
close to
yeah,
us, our jugular vein.
yeah.
Close.
It was my ego. It was my ego. I want God to myself. I'm just gonna tell you, I knew it was selfish. It was selfish. Like,
That's fine. He bigger.
now I want y'all to sleep, because what I got, I, I don't need nobody else. I need no God to be distracted, as if he could be. But that was what I was. That was my thoughts. So, Brandon, do you have any comments? Because I have quite a few here, and I don't want to keep just not.
No, I don't. There were people popping in and out and
Okay.
listening. But I did send you the Circle Maker link to the book. So if you want to put that out, I did email that to you if you want to share that at all.
I do, you guys. And I'm gonna put some other things out on the Facebook, and I'll try on YouTube as well this time. I'm gonna do that. But before we get out of here, Brandon, you struck something in me as well, and I'm going to read the comments, and we'll get out. But y'all, there is a money saving challenge, one pager, where you can save $1,000 in 30 days. Let's try that together. And the first day you put five. Let's start today. The second day you put 10. The
Okay.
third day you put 15, and so forth. I'm going to send it out. I'll put it out on the Facebook page. And then if you guys want a copy, drop a comment in this, send me a message. And then I will, 901butterflies at gmail.com is the best if you want to email it. 901butterflies at gmail.com. Email me or hit me up on Facebook. Um, I'll quickly read and Brandon, I don't know if you need to go, but I'll quickly read our comments.
No.
Are you okay?
Mhm.
Just a few more. Okay, so we have Big Mike says, when you reach a certain elevation with God, things begin to manifest in your favor. KL says, and good morning, KL. I don't know if I said that. My motto: there are no uh, coincidences. Let's see. I put delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Big Mike says, Tammy, we talked about this yesterday. Yes, 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 we did. He said, remember what I said about the water and the rock. Yes, you have to share that. Chipping away the water will eventually, he did, with time, erode through the rock. How do you spell erode? Ha ha. Okay, so that's the same thing. He says, chipping away at the rock, the water will eventually erode through the rock. Keep chipping at it, and it will eventually crack. KL says, I don't know if anyone else played basketball as I did. There are some games, seasons that you are not the zone. Can't miss. Y'all have been in the zone since day 100. Oh, thank you, KL. So that was about us. Delight means to gain great pleasure, satisfaction, and happiness. Another meaning of the Hebrew word for delight is to be soft, tender. I think lovers of God are those who are soft and tender toward him, always teachable, always pliable in his hands. KL says, in the zone, in this season, see what I did there. In the zone, in this season. Yeah. And that's, let's see, I don't know what the 528 means, KL. So help us on that. It's hammer time, you guys. You are too legit to quit. Right? I said that. You don't quit. KL says, y'all are blessed. Brandon, not that you didn't already know. I'm just reaffirming. Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
you. Love you, brother. I
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Yeah. He says habits go both ways. I was doing push ups every day for about 7 months. I took a break for a week. Now I haven't for about 7 months. Whoa. Hmm. That's
Different.
deep, y'all.
What's the difference? Do you feel the difference, or I'm sure your tonality or anything like that is different, but internally, how do you? Is there a difference in how you felt then doing that to how you feel now? I'd be interested to know in a comment.
What do you think? He said, I took a break for a week. Now I haven't for 7 months. He did it for 7 months. He took a break for a week and now he hasn't gone back to it.
Yeah, because
Yeah. Momentum.
yeah.
Yeah, he says, "Hold on, I forgot to send it, but check your page in 3 minutes." Not sure what you're talking about. So I do want to hear about the 528. So drop it in there, and we'll keep going. Good morning, Tasha. I love you, Tammy. Thank you. I love you too, honey. I'll give you a call later. If not today, tomorrow. Let me say that because today's kind of crazy for me. KL, I got that from Psalms 165. Okay. And Latasha, we had family reunion today, Brandon. We had all of
Mm,
y'all family, but we had a lot of family in today. Thank you guys. I even saw that Rita Abbott, thank you out there. Yeah, we had a lot of family. So man, thank you. Thank you. So that's all I have. If you don't have anything from Instagram, I don't have any. Yes, I do. Tasha's listening from YouTube. So my 528 is your 1111. Oh, okay. He sees
ah,
528. Okay, got it. And my that's my equivalent to my 1111. You guys, I always see 111. And y'all need to look that up too. I forever have seen 111 and 1111. And granddaughter was born on 111.
mm-hmm. 19.
Well, huh?
Oh, yeah, 111 in 2019.
Yeah. I was like, what baby you talking about?
2019. I was just thinking.
Yeah. So, all right. That's all we have, you guys. Thank you for rocking with us today. We'll be back tomorrow for day 166. Don't forget, if you are interested in that savings form, let's do it. Let's start today. Let's start today, right? It
Yep.
is all, just put $5 back today, 10 tomorrow. That'll give me time to get you the form if you request it, but I am going to put it out there on Facebook. 5 today, 10 tomorrow. Get you something to drop it in. Do not go back to it. All right. That's all I have, Brandon.
All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all again for attending the show. We're about to wrap this up and get out of here today on the July 14th. The title was Hammer Time, and our quote came from Harriet Tubman, somebody that we all know, the abolitionist. In my opinion, some people wouldn't consider her an abolitionist, but she was a conductor for the Underground Railroad, where she helped people escape slavery. Right? It wasn't just the abolishment of slavery as far as legally, but she was like, we're out of here. We're not waiting for legality. We are getting out of here. She said, I don't care about how many times you hear the word no. You ain't gonna give up. Either live north or die. And at the end of the passage, we came to our affirmation and our motivation for the day, which is like the stonecutter. I will hammer my way through to success. Like the stonecutter, I will hammer my way through to success. Now go tell someone today and invite them to the next show and remind them of this, that we are like the stonecutter. I will hammer my way through to success. Bit by bit. You ain't got to hit it hard. Don't waste all your energy in one blow. But bit by bit. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. All right? Y'all take care. Mama's still laughing at me from the beginning of the show to the end of the
Y'all
show.
know. I just got it. I will hammer my way through success. It's hammer time.
It's hammer time.
I will hammer my way through success. You probably got that earlier, but it just connected when you read it. I
Go
will hammer my way through to
to.
success. It's hammer time. You are too legit to quit.
So don't quit. Keep that
So
momentum, y'all. We love y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow at 7 a.m. Same time, same place. Make sure you go to the YouTube, no matter where you're watching this from. And if you are in the YouTube, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And go like every video you can. Just do us a favor for like 2 minutes. Go through all the videos, click on them, like them, get some momentum for us on this channel, y'all. We got to reach more people. Thank y'all so much. We'll see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place, in the season podcast. Peace.
go put that $5 in a can or something in a jar. $5 today, and I'll get it out. Thank you guys.
Peace.
Peace.